Hey team, long time no speak. Molly here, fiercely devoted to your freedom, very into having lots of communication together while we're doing the Bermuda Triangle. So, in case you didn't know, we're going to be chatting. Well, we talked last night. Great talk, all about tips. You can go back in the annals and look at it. We're going to talk today, and then tomorrow night you should come. It's going to be a party. You know I love a good party. Good morning. And we're going to have a little party tomorrow night. I love a good Thanksgiving pregame. That's what I call it. Thanksgiving pregame. So you can sign up. Link is in bio on Instagram, and I don't know about Facebook, but I'll get to it. I'll leave a link in the bio of this Facebook Live also. Hey, so many people coming on board. Hey, we love a good morning chat. So I just, it's interesting. So if you haven't joined, I know some people are not into Facebook, but a good reason to get into Facebook is actually to come into our Breaking Up with Sugar Facebook group. It's some pretty incredible stuff goes on there, is what I want to tell you. In a world full of chaos and disorder, I can tell you that our Facebook group, which is called Breaking Up with Sugar, our private Facebook group, is just pretty incredible. It really gives me faith in this world, and I'm not even overstating it. It's just a group that is just full of love and support, and people just all trying to do their very best in this lifetime. So anyway, so come join that if you want, come to whatever. But anyway, I come on board today. I come to our time together today because I visit that Facebook group a lot. And I was reading some of the comments that people were reading, which is a very typical, what I'm about to talk to you about is a very typical, Thanksgiving issue hey, Teresa, when we have I don't know, when we're in the beginning of creating a new relationship with food, it is not uncommon when holidays come around and we have so many associations with holidays, holidays and food just live together. And part of creating a healthy relationship with food isn't necessarily not loving the food that you're eating on the holiday. Remember, I am anti-survive the holidays, survive. Oh, please. We have come way too far to survive holidays, my loves. We're here to thrive in the holidays. Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, I'm not saying you shouldn't be eating food that you love over Thanksgiving. In fact, I'm sure on that Facebook group, there's lots of talk about what the delicious things that we're going to be eating are. And that's actually how I got to this topic that I wanted to talk about. Has this ever happened to you? Sometimes I just have so much to say that I can't write about it. I need to talk. So I'm going to talk. So anyway, lots of people were writing about things like creating these sort of Breaking Up with Sugar friendly pie crusts and pies and making these little concoctions with all of this stuff in it. And people are talking about using, so the first thing I want to say is, hey, Diane, people are talking about using stevia. And so, okay, I am your bestie and I am your guide and I am your coach and I'm all of these things. But the thing I am not, which I really, really want to say, is the boss of you. There's actually not a whole lot of data as to what supports solid long-term weight loss or creating a new relationship with food. But the one thing that they do say is the thing that works is what they call self-determination. And so that really means that, me saying to you, don't eat sugar or whatever, it's no one's listening to that. You know what I mean? No one's listening to that. It has to really come from inside of you. And that's a big piece of this. And so that's why in Breaking Up with Sugar, the book, I talk so much about your why and really understanding your motivation. This thing runs deep and making a permanent life change, really, really, really runs deep. So I say this because, I'm going to tell you what I think, because that's what, we hang out for. That's sort of part of the contract that we're all in together. And I'm going to tell you what data supports, and then you're going to make the choices on your own. And before I say anything, and I'll say this tomorrow during our webinar, is the other thing I want to say is if you decide that you want to go eat a whole pumpkin pie, and that doesn't work for you, you can always come back. We don't need to go on a big bender after that. Just that's like a new data point. I mean, I don't support that, but you know what I'm saying. So anyway, people are talking about like sort of creating desserts like, and using this artificial sweetener. And can I just say, so people like, so in the chapter 4 of Breaking Up with Sugar, if you haven't read it, it's a great book. I happen to know the author. There's a quiz in it. And there's a quiz that talks about the severity of your relationship with sugar. The artificial sweetener is like the devil's greatest coup. It is arguably significantly worse for you than actual sugar. And stevia, oh my goodness, because stevia, yeah, whenever I want to break up with sugar, I found myself wanting more. I know. And so sometimes that detox process takes a little bit of time. I mean, that's kind of how we stay locked in that's how we stay locked in the addiction with sugar, is that we say, oh my God, but I need to go have sugar. And then we have sugar and then we're locked in the thing. And again, one size doesn't fit all, but that's been my experience of treating thousands of people. The thing about stevia, my loves, is like, it's almost like in a way, the one that's really got us by the hold, because we're like, no, but like stevia is natural, Stevia is like 30 to 300 times as sweet as sugar. And so a lot of what the artificial sweeteners and why they're so toxic, I wouldn't say toxic, well, some of them are toxic, but why they are troublesome in creating a loving and healthy relationship with food is because they mess with your taste buds so much and they make you crave sweets so much more than actual sugar. And I'm the kind of person that says like, don't even eat sugar. Do you know what I'm saying? So I want you to just be thoughtful about that when you're creating these recipes. And I think there's a part of it where if you're a decided BUWS warrior, if you're someone who's saying, okay, listen, sugar doesn't work for me, I need you to honor that, because at the end of the day, it's really your deep wisdom. And the problem with wisdom is this. Sometimes our emotions can really infiltrate our wisdom, and it can feel like we're making this super wise choice, but we're not. It's like the emotions and the want and the craving like takes over and like pretends it's your wisdom. And that's what I really want you to look at in all of this. It's like, okay, so I'm making a pie crust and it has, really, really old bananas in it, which are really sugary, which ends up being so sugary. And I'm putting some stevia in it and I'm putting some vanilla in it. And I think it's sort of, for lack of a better word, like legal in my relationship with food and what I know works for me. It's not. Sorry about that, Instagram. It's not because it's sugar. and I think there's this part. Yeah, Brenda over on Facebook is saying that artificial sweeteners were harder to quit than the real sugar. Me too, Brenda. Actually, artificial sweeteners were the last thing I gave up in all of it. And it's the thing that made the most difference. And I've actually seen that across the board in the thousands of people that I have helped to break up with sugar. It's the thing that actually solidifies breaking up with sugar. And the coffee part was the hardest for me. I don't know about you. So the thing is, you guys, like there's a part of it where, yeah, it's like we want it to be a normal holiday. I mean, on every level, with the COVID of it all, with many of us not being with our families. And so there's this desire to, make it normal. And I think there's a lot of it where when we want what we want, there's this way of thinking about, well, I want this on Thanksgiving, that doesn't think about the long-term implications of it. And I think, I'm a big talker about self-love and self-love being an action. And I want you to really be thinking about the long-term implications of this. Like my experience with creating like these desserts with like these kind of like on the borderline of like what is sugar and what isn't, including stevia, including these like, really, really, really ripe bananas, which like, I mean, I would just eat by the hand. This is how I'd want to eat them. Like a horse. That's when I know it doesn't work for me, when I want to eat it like a horse. The problem is that it's like we're trying to game the system. Right. And I say this a lot. We're trying to game the system. I want you just to see this. And whether or not you decide to behave differently is a different story. There's this idea in harm reduction and creating, reduced harm, where it's like, I want you to be informed. Like, there's like an informed consent. So if you decide that you want to make your pie crust out of like bananas and stevia, like I want you to do it knowing that there's like an inherent risk in that. That's all I want, right? And I want you to be thinking a little bit about the long-term implications. I say also this, like, and like if you eat the pie crust with the stevia and it doesn't work, like you can always get back on. That's the other piece that's so important here. The end of the day, this whole thing is about personal integrity, right? And I want, if you can observe the behavior that you're trying to sort of game the system, right? That's a behavior that's, in my opinion, sort of out of alignment, right? It takes you far away from this life that you're trying to create free of food obsession. I mean, if you really want to think about the things that matter, it's like we want freedom. Like we don't want all this chatter and all this talking. And so as I say, like if you eat a whole bag of stevia, you can get back on. But when you eat the bag of stevia, it starts the noise in the head and am I good enough? And did I put on the weight? And what do I do? And I want more. And like all that does is take you out of life. I mean, the thing about addiction is that it's a thief and a terrorist. And the way that you can stay out of that is by not engaging in it. And so when we're trying to game the system with these desserts and I just want to bite and I'm just going to have a slice and it's just this once and maybe I'll do it and I'll keep it in my freezer and then I'll unfreeze it, you are losing time. And the thing about trying to game the system is this, that the house always wins. It is determined. So, and I don't mean necessarily that you're going to like, you know, be on a bender and lose all the results. Like that is total crap. That is how I feel about people saying we need to survive the holiday system. And yet, why do we need to put ourselves through this? Like, can't we just be grateful for the recovery that we've made? Be grateful for the changes that we've made in our life? Like, can we make choices on Thanksgiving rooted in the incredible work we've done and rooted in the future that we want for our relationship with food and ourselves? And frankly, for many of you, if not most of you, that choice would be to eat lovable foods that love you back, right? And these system games, like, you know, pie crusts and these like frozen pies that maybe I'll take out, like that is noise. That is noise. And it's just like, in my opinion, it doesn't have to be yours. You do you, boo. Like, it's just not loving. The loving thing to do is to make, delicious food that loves you back. Over back at Beacon, you know, I don't know if anybody's ever seen this on my Facebook page, but, you know, we like love a birthday. And Amaret Rojas, the most like amazing assistant and office manager of all time, the things this girl can do with fruit on a birthday. Do you know what I mean? She makes cupcakes full of cut up fruit, like cupcake bowls, and she makes skewers. And like, it's all I'm saying is there's a way. It is a disease. It is a disease. There is a way for many of us to thrive. And one of the ways to do that is to not go back to the old habits. Like, and what I'll say over and over again, and I'll say this tomorrow during our, during our webinar is, you know, maybe most importantly, making errors during this time, you want to try to make them, if you make them at all, you want to make them in quantity, not quality. Because the thing about it, if you really do have this addiction or unhealthy relationship with sugar, going back in just activates all the stuff again. And then you got to go through the thing again. And it's like, oh, enough is enough. Freedom awaits. And many of you are making these decisions about Thanksgiving while you're in the freedom. Like you're actually putting it at risk. I don't know what you should do about that. I'm not the boss of you. I'm not. I'm your coach. I'm your bestie. I am fiercely devoted to your freedom, but I'm not the boss of you. But can you just consider that as you're doing this? Can you just consider the idea that you are putting this beautiful freedom that you have been working so hard towards, many of you since the beginning of the year, in the name of like a piece of pie? Like put that up like on a little Post-it, put that up and just like look at it all day, meditate on it, think about it. I don't know what you should do. I mean, I know what I wish you would do, but you're going to do whatever you're going to do. I support that wholeheartedly. I mean, sometimes we have to learn lessons. That's the way life is. Ugh, please read my story in the first 10 pages of the book. I'm the queen of learning lessons over and over again. I'm a slow learner, but I'm on the other side of it saying like, there is a peace and freedom honoring what works for you. That is, you know, excuse my cheesiness, but tastes better than any pie. I mean, This is just what I want. This is my, for your consideration, right? Bites, licks, and tastes for your consideration. I'm so interested if you have any thoughts or you have any feelings or you have any comments. I am dying to talk about this. It's pretty controversial, right? Because it's like the moderation movement is very like, yeah, but like every now and then. And there's a lot of us who are not every now and then people. And the impact, while we can totally bounce back from it, I don't know that the cost is so important. I mean, talk about empowering a piece of pecan pie, my loves. Oh, enough is enough. It's stolen enough from us. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, so that's my little chat for today. I've talked so long. I love a good 15-minute chat with my peeps. Leave me comments, leave me likes, because it motivates me. I'm just human. Leave me comments, leave me likes, leave me thoughts, leave me ideas. I'm so interested. We are going to thrive through this holiday season. That I promise you. And I am so grateful to get to be in this community with you. Love you deeply. If nobody's told you that they love you today, I do. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Please come to our webinar tomorrow night. And we'll leave the link in the Facebook comments. We'll leave the link, and the link is in the bio on Instagram. So have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye.